Okay, so we are on part 2 now of this 4-part series on the cFop tutorial. Now we have the C, which stands for cross, and now we are on the F, which stands for F2L. And F2L stands for first two layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert the corners on the first layer, and then also at the same time insert the edges on the second layer. So that's what F2L means. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so our goal is to pair up a corner and an edge so that it looks like this. For example, we have the white, red, and blue corner piece. We have the red and blue edge piece. Now the corner needs to go right here, and the edge actually needs to go right here. So what we can do to insert this pair is to simply bring this side up, move it over so that it's matching with the white cross, and bring it down. So now we've inserted this corner edge pair. So all we need to do is to find the corner and edge for each slot, and then find a way to pair them. So we'll go ahead and start off with this edge and this corner. As we can see here, we have white, red, and green for our corner. This is the red and green edge. So we know that this corner and edge are going to pair together. So what we can do is, there's quite a few different ways we can pair this corner and edge together, but I'll go ahead and start off with a very simple way. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rotate this piece so that it's in the back, away from where this corner piece is. Next, we're going to go ahead and take this corner piece out of this bottom layer. So we're going to go ahead and move it up. And then we're going to move it out of the way by doing a U2. Because we also don't want to bring our edge back down in here. And then we bring this down. And then we have our corner. We can go ahead and do a U prime. And then we have our corner right here. And the edge. The way we can tell when we move this up, if it's going to match or not, is by these colors. We always want to make sure that when we're going to make a pair, that the two pieces on the top layer are different colors. So on the edge we have green and red. We need to make sure that the color on the corner on the top layer, which is right here, is going to be either green or red. We don't want white to be on this top layer when we pair. And next we need to notice this edge, the color on the top layer of the edge, which is red. So then we need to make sure that on our corner, the color on the top layer is not red, which means it has to be green, which it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring this up to pair it. However, we've messed up our white cross. Next, we're going to go ahead and bring it over so that it is matching up with the white cross piece, and then bring it down. So we have put in that second F2L pair. So we're going to go ahead now and work on a third. Right here we have a good example of something different we can do. We have this corner and we have this edge. Both of these can pair together. We just have to get them in the correct position. So what we're going to do is we're first going to get this corner into the top layer. So we're going to move it up, do a U2 to get it out of the way, and make sure that our corner doesn't come back down when we move the cross piece back. And then so we have, right here, we have the corner and the edge. Now we have it in the correct color scheme because the white is not on the top layer, and the green is on the top layer with the orange, which is the other piece on the edge. We don't want these two colors to be the same, which they aren't. However, we cannot bring this up to make a pair, because as you can see here, it doesn't make the pair. So we are going to need to bring this edge down. However, we're going to run into a problem here. We already have this pair solved, and so when we move this edge over, it's going to take this pair out, and we don't want that. So we have to make sure that when we do this sequence of moves, we have a pair in the back that is not solved. So for example, right here would be fine because there is no solved pair in there. So we go ahead and move it over again. And now we can bring this corner down safely, move the edge out of the way, and then bring the corner back up. So now we can go ahead and insert this corner and edge pair. First, in order to make fewer moves, we can bring it over so that it is above the slot where it needs to go, which is right here. We have the green, orange, and white center, which tells us that this corner is going to go right here. So we can go ahead now and insert this pair. We can bring up the corner, so now that it's paired, and we can move it in with the white edge, and then bring it down to solve our cross and insert the pair. So there we go, we have 3 of our 4 corner edge pairs in. Now this last case right here is another case that is pretty good to know. When you have the corner is already inserted, and you have the edge, which is right here, we can simply move it out of the way, over to the right once, or counterclockwise, and then we can bring up this corner. Now we want to make sure that when we bring up this corner, that the blue will be on with the orange, because you can see here, if this edge were flipped, it would be blue with blue, and we don't want that when we're pairing. See, as you can see here, when we try to pair this edge, it's going to pair. So we know that these colors are in the correct position. So you go ahead and pair it, first of all moving it out of the way, and then bringing our cross back down. And then we can go ahead and move it back over, and these colors are opposites, which is what we want. It's in the correct position so that when we move up the corner to pair it with the edge, we bring out the edge piece, the white, move the pair back over, and bring it back down. So as you can see here, we have solved our first 2 layers using F2L. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go over some more examples of all the different cases you might have while you're solving your 3x3 using F2L. This first case right here is going to be a pretty common case. We have the white, blue, and red corner piece, the blue and red edge piece. However, we cannot pair these two properly, because if we bring this up, we'll notice that the colors are flipped. So what we can do to easily fix this problem is to move it over once. We need to make sure when we're doing this that there is no solved pair back here, which there isn't. We need to bring this corner down into this bottom layer, do a U2, and then bring the corner back up. So we have solved this pair right here, and now all we need to do is insert it. So bring it over, move up the slot where it needs to go, insert it, and then bring it back. So we've inserted that pair. Okay, so for this next case, we have, again, the white, blue, and red corner piece, and the blue and red edge piece. However, this time, instead of the corner being over here, it's now right here. So when we move this up, we're going to have 2 problems. One, the white is on the top layer, and we do not want that. And 2, the blue is not over here matching with the blue. Because as we can see here, the red is on the top layer for both of these pieces. And we don't want this. So what we can do is we can go ahead and rotate our cube once, and making sure that the slot that the corner is above is empty, which it is, then we can go ahead and bring the corner up so that it remains on this top layer, but it has just been reoriented. So as you can see now, the blue is on the top layer with the red, which is what we want. So now we can go ahead and move it out of the way so that the edge and the corner are not on this layer, and bring this back. So now we have this corner in a very easy position. All we need to do is make sure that when we rotate it over, there is an empty slot right here, which there is, because we're going to move this down, move the corner piece over counterclockwise, and then bring back the corner piece. So I'm going to go ahead and move it over so that it is above this empty slot. Next we're going to move it up, bring this pair over so that it's matching with the edge, and then bring it back. So we've solved that case. This next case, we have the corner and edge are already together. However, we have a problem. The blue on the edge is matching up with the red on the corner on the top layer. And we don't want that. We want the blue to match up with the blue and the red with the red. So what we're going to do to solve this case is we're just going to go ahead and rotate this edge corner pair over. And we want to make sure that there is an unsolved pair with the corner piece, which there is. It's right here. Next we're going to go ahead and move the corner down once. We're going to go ahead and do a U prime so that the edge is now over here. And we're going to go ahead and bring back up the corner piece. So when we rotate it over, we can see that we have correctly oriented the corner and the edge. So we have the red and blue on the top layer, which is what we want. And the white is facing to the right, which is also what we want. So that way when we move this up, the blue is matching with the blue, and the red is matching with the red. So next we can go ahead and bring it over to match up with our corner piece, or edge piece, and then bring it down. So we've solved that corner edge pair. Okay, so this case right here is just a little bit different. It's almost the same thing, because we have, instead of the corner being oriented this way, the white being facing, it's now oriented away. The white is moving away. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to make sure there's an empty slot in the back, which there is, and then we're going to go ahead and move this corner down, do a U2, and then bring the corner back. So as you can see here, we have red and blue on the top layer, which is what we want. And then when we move the corner up, the blue is matching with the blue, and the red is matching with the red, which is also what we want. However, we can't move it up right here because there's a slot that's already been filled right here. So we're going to have to move it over to an empty slot, which is this one. So now we can move it up, bring this corner edge pair over, and move it down. So we have solved the F2L using that case. Okay, so for this case, so it's just a little bit different again. We have the corner and edge, they're both paired, but they're not oriented correctly. So what we can do to fix this is we need to make sure that there's an empty slot right below the corner piece, which there is. Next, we're going to move the corner up once, and we're going to make sure that when we move the corner, it's on the same axis as the edges. So we don't want to move the corner up like this, because it's not on the same face. But we do want to move it like this. Next, we can go ahead and move it out of the way, or do a U prime, and then bring this edge back. So we can go ahead and do a U2. And as you can see here, we have the blue is matching up with the red, and the red is matching with the blue. And that's exactly what we want. So we can go ahead and bring the corner edge pair up, rotate it over, and then bring this back. So we've solved that corner edge pair. Okay, just a real quick side note, just in case you didn't know this already, I'm just going to tell you now, that if you already have a pair right here, all you need to do is just simply insert it like you would a regular corner piece. Move it out of the way, bring this side up, move it over, and then bring this back down. So that's basically how you would insert a pair if it were already paired up, but it wasn't in the correct slot. Just like that. It's very simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and scramble my cube, and I'm going to solve the cube from the cross and finish the F2L, since those are the two parts of solving the cube using cFop that we've learned so far. Then I'll stop there because the next part will be on OLL. So I'm going to go ahead and use my inspection time. And this solve won't be very fast because I'm looking through the viewfinder of the camera. But, here we go. And there we go. We have the cross and all of the F2L pairs in. Alright guys, so that's about it for this tutorial. I hope you guys were able to figure out your F2L as well as practice your cross. And if you were, make sure to hit that like button down below. And please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it.